The Tai Chi sword is one of the best way to develop practical fighting power and movements. But unfortunately, one should not really practice the sword until the basic consolidation of the body is done, because the sword tends to break up the structures, and if you practice the sword too early, it tends to actually decrease your ability to actually generate power in terms of striking and so on. Okay. Now, when you practice the sword, it's not so much that I'm practicing how to cut someone with the sword, and that's just stupid, right? What you are trying to do is you are trying to actually align the body with the sword, so that like when you have sword movements, right, the body actually becomes part of the whole path, right, instead of having the sword separated from the body. So how to actually like utilize the sword movements? Okay, like for example, if Alex raises up the hands, right, because in the sword we don't clash, right, so when you fight you don't want to clash either, because every time I clash I give Alex an opportunity to actually manipulate me, right, and strike back. Okay, I don't want to have to rely on a lot of like this sort of things, right, because like the more I do this sort of things, again I give Alex more opportunity to fight back, retaliate, as well as if I've got Alex's friend with a beer bottle from behind, like the back of my head is gone, right? So the longer I stay with Alex, the worse it becomes, okay? So with the sword, what I want to do is, I want to actually use the sword movement to come in. Now this sort of movement, you may think that like the body is twisted, right? But then the power is actually like quite a lot, because like your whole body is supported, right? So delivering this sort of strikes actually is this sort of strikes, right, is actually you deliver tremendous amount of power, right, with very little movement, because you have learned from the sword on how to collect the spirals, right, and use the spirals. So if I use the sword to move in to fight Alex, right, no clashing, right, protect myself, spiraling in, I would have this sort of things happening. Right, I would actually have, for example, like to slow that down, screw in, right, while I'm protecting myself from that and that, I would screw in, just like I would play with a sword, strike, right, turn around, whip with the tassel of the sword, and then cut again with the sword while I'm stepping around, and I would actually continue to step around to actually strike the opponent. Yeah. So usually by the time you actually like, for example, we fight, right? By the time you actually like strike through and move away, right? You would have delivered 4 or 5 hits already, and you would still be mobile enough to avoid being attacked from the back.